morning. It's 8 a.m. My coffee is cold. I have the day off, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about social media. I'm gonna start by saying that I think social media is detrimental to the human brain and human consciousness and the human experience. And I didn't feel this way until very recently. I fully used to be someone who really loved social media. If you look back at my social media history, I've been posting on Instagram every single day for the past 5 years, probably. Trying to grow every single day, trying to grow on Instagram. For the past 2 years, every single day, I've been trying to grow on YouTube. I fully believe that YouTube is the lesser of all the evils in the way that it doesn't demand your constant attention and engagement, but I still do think that YouTube is detrimental, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I love social media. I love it for a lot of reasons. I think that it helps us share information in a world where mainstream media is consistently and constantly lying. It helps us to share experiences and connect with people around the world who we otherwise wouldn't be able to connect with. It helps to bring consciousness together in a really beautiful way. I think social media has a very positive side. I don't want to disregard that. Sometimes on social media, we can share the happiest and most beautiful moments of our lives, and we leave out the real things. And it's detrimental to a developing young brain to see their friends and people they know living a beautiful life. It can be detrimental to you to see people living a beautiful life all of the time and think that your life should be beautiful. I know a lot of people will come across my channel and be like, wow, she lives in Olympic National Park and she is exploring all the time. And that's not true. I can't remember the last time I was out in the park, if I'm being honest with you. But I sure have plenty of footage to put on my Instagram reels to grow on Instagram. Make people think that I'm out in the park more often than I actually am. My fiance is very anti-social media, and he's expressed that to me a lot of times. And I value social media so highly that I didn't really want to listen to anything that he had to say about it. He deleted Instagram, and I got defensive really when he would say things about how unhealthy he thinks that Instagram is. And he's always been supportive. He knows how important it is to me to have this YouTube channel. So he has been sort of quiet when it comes to Instagram and YouTube in my life. But he expresses all the time how much he hates TikTok. His reasoning for this is that he thinks his TikTok is completely detrimental to your happy chemicals and to your experience of the world in the here and now. That's really what I want to get into in this video, is talking about the here and now. We don't exist in the here and now anymore. And I didn't really realize that until, honestly, yesterday. So yesterday, I forced myself to not look at my phone. I did a no screen day. I wasn't allowed to look at my computer, and I wasn't allowed to go on my phone. I wrote down all of my thoughts and all of the things that I noticed throughout the day. So my first realization is that in any moment that I feel just a slight bit of boredom, or there isn't any sort of stimulus coming to me from the outside, I will reach for my phone. Tanner and I went to pick up some materials for his job yesterday. So I was sitting in the car and I was waiting for him while he was loading up the materials. And he got out of the car and I immediately reached for my phone. And then I said, no, you can't do that. So instead, I rolled down the window and I looked out the window and I watched the birds. There was some bird feeders and I was just watching them eat and play. And I realized that in that moment, I wouldn't have even noticed that there were birds out my window had I been allowed to look at my phone. In this realization, I was like, wow, like how much of the world around me am I missing? Because in any moment where there's a little bit of boredom, I immediately just reach for my phone. Rather than like looking around and just being in the moment and being where I am, I'll go on my phone and go somewhere else. And that's so sad. That is unbelievably sad. I am robbing myself of that moment. I am taking my life, my precious, fleeting life away every time I look at my phone. And I know it doesn't quite feel like that because you find happiness, right? When you look at your phone, you see things that are interesting or you learn something, but do you really? Like, what could be cooler than watching the birds eat out of the bird feeder in that moment? And then I think about my relationship. So much time that I spend with him, I spend looking at my phone. I spend that time immersed in someone else's life that's not really their life, immersed in someone else's story, someone else's mask that they're portraying to the world. Yeah, it's undeniably depressing when you realize how much of your existence you are sacrificing every time you get on your phone. The next thing that I noticed is that because I didn't actually have access to my phone when I was bored, I was doing more creative things. So I was painting. I did a little bit of writing. It was a beautiful sunny day, so I spent almost the entire day outside. Got out a coloring book. I cleaned the house. I made bread and I cooked dinner, and I enjoyed cooking dinner. And normally when I cook, there's this sense of urgency. There's this like feeling like get it done, get it done, get it done. And I didn't feel that in the moment that I was spending making food. I felt in the moment with the food, and that felt really beautiful. I also, by the end of the day, felt significantly more peaceful. I think something that we don't realize is that our brains aren't technically built to absorb the amount of information that we have at our fingertips. You notice a different feeling when you look outside and you look into nature than you do when you look at a screen. It's kind of a buzzier feeling when you look at a screen. It's like kind of, but when you look into nature, it's more like a kind of a feeling. But I definitely felt more at ease. And this morning, when I woke up, I actually went straight back to my original habit, which is to spend 30 minutes to an hour in bed drinking coffee on my phone. I even posted a reel this morning. Just had this moment where I was like, why am I going back to this? Why am I choosing this? Because I could have spent the morning doing something completely different. I could have spent the morning writing, looking out the window, watching the birds. I could have spent the morning in a much more precious way, but I didn't. I fed into it. And I'm making a video right now, yes. But again, YouTube I feel like is a different thing than reels, right? Because reels, nobody actually enjoys making reels. Nobody likes watching reels. The only reason that anybody makes or watches reels is to make or watch more reels, because that's what we've been told that we need to do in order to grow. Nobody actually likes them. That's another thing that I noticed, is that I actually don't enjoy anything that I'm looking at when I'm on social media. I don't actually like it. It doesn't actually make me happy, and I don't actually care. I don't care what these other people are doing with their lives. I'm scrolling through story after story of all of these people. Some of them I don't even know. I don't care. I don't actually care. But there's something in my brain that tells me that I do care and that I want to watch that. I don't. I really don't. And the longer I went without it yesterday, the more I decided that I didn't really want it in my life. I'm not going to look at it anymore today. I'm already kind of upset with myself for spending so much time on it this morning, but it's only like 9 a.m. I have a whole day ahead of me to really do something beautiful. And that's what I'm gonna do. One of the things that phones take away from us, other than just being in your life, existing in your present moment, something that phones really take away from us is our ability to be alone. Because anytime you do feel alone, that uncomfortable feeling of aloneness, you just take out your phone and you're no longer alone. But they also force us into aloneness, because when we're with people, we're not really. Even if we're not checking our phone, we're thinking about checking our phone, and we're not here, we're not present. And I think that that is heartbreaking. This world, this experience that we have is so valuable, and we aren't fully to blame for getting caught up in all of the social media. Allowing ourselves to get so deep, it's not fully our fault, because we're humans and our brains work a specific way. It takes conscious effort to break your brain free from it. But I just want to challenge you to just do one day a week if you can. If you have one day that you don't work, because I have to use my phone for work, so I understand that. Just one day you can be phone free every single week. And what I really think that will do is it will spark a snowball effect. You might completely leave social media. I might. I'm not gonna leave YouTube because this community and the ability for me to share messages like this is really valuable to me. But if you do follow me on Instagram, just know that I'm not gonna be as present as I have been. There's a lot of beautiful things that we can share on social media, but there's also a very beautiful world that we exist in right now. I really don't want that to get lost. As we move deeper into the metaverse, I'm feeling a desire to get closer to the earth because I don't want to go into the metaverse. I don't need that. I don't need it because I have the earth and she means a lot more to me than anything you could find in the metaverse. So just one day a week, give it a try, see what you think. I personally don't know if I'll ever go back. Love you.